The Milwaukee Bucks finally figured it out. The Bucks started the season in one of the roughest ways possible, opening with a tough 2-8 record. It felt like things might spiral out of control for them, but they've turned it all around in spectacular fashion. Over their last 9 games, they've gone 8-1, bringing their overall record to 10-9. That's an incredible recovery, and it's not just the wins that stand out, it's how they're playing. The numbers they're putting up right now are nothing short of elite, and they're showing everyone why they're a team to watch. Let's break it down, starting with their offense. In the last 9 games, they've jumped all the way to 9th in the league in points per game. That's a huge improvement and speaks volumes about their ability to put the ball in the basket. But what's even more impressive is their efficiency. They're shooting the ball at an elite level, ranking 7th in field goal percentage. And their 3-point shooting absolutely lights out. They're 2nd in the league during this stretch. That kind of sharp shooting is a game changer, and it's been a major reason for their success. When you're hitting shots at that level, defenses just don't know what to do. Defensively, they've been just as impressive. They're 4th in defensive rebounds per game over the last 9 games, and that's a critical stat. Grabbing those boards means their opponents are getting very few second chance opportunities. Controlling the glass is one of the most underrated parts of the game, and the Bucks are dominating in that area. They're also playing incredibly smart basketball. They're 8th in the league in turnovers during this stretch. Protecting the ball has allowed them to maximize their possessions and avoid giving easy scoring chances to the other team. And let's talk about their shot blocking. They're 6th in the league in blocks per game, and that's been huge for their defense. Blocking shots doesn't just stop scoring opportunities. It sends a message to opponents. It makes teams hesitate before driving to the rim, and that hesitation can completely disrupt an offense. On top of that, they're 9th in committing the least fouls, which shows just how disciplined they've been defensively. They're not giving up easy points at the free throw line, and that's the kind of attention to detail that separates good teams from great ones. The overall impact of their play is reflected in some of the most telling advanced stats. They're 6th in plus-minus, which shows how much better they've been than their opponents when they're on the court. Offensively, they're 7th in offensive rating, and defensively, they're 9th in defensive rating. When you combine those two, you get their net rating, where they rank 6th in the league over this stretch. That balance between offense and defense is what every team strives for, and the Bucks have found it. Their assist-to-turnover ratio has also been solid at 11th. That means they're not just scoring points, but they're doing it the right way, by moving the ball and creating high-quality opportunities. And speaking of quality, their shooting efficiency is off the charts. They're 5th in effective field goal percentage, which accounts for the added value of 3-pointers, and 6th in true shooting percentage, which includes free throws as well. Those numbers show just how efficient and smart they've been with their shot selection. One stat that really highlights their defensive effort is their ranking in opponents' second chance points. They're 10th in the league, and that ties directly back to their dominance on the defensive glass. They're not giving teams any easy opportunities to stay in the game. By closing out possessions with strong rebounding, they're making it so much harder for their opponents to keep up. What's even more impressive is how all these stats fit together. It's not just about 1 or 2 areas where they're excelling, it's across the board. They're finding ways to dominate. On offense, lock in on defense, and control the little details like turnovers and fouls. That's what makes this turnaround so special. It's not just a hot streak, it's the kind of play that looks sustainable. They're playing with a level of confidence, focus, and energy that's hard to match. The Bucks this season started with plenty of reasons for concern, but this recent stretch has completely changed the narrative. They've gone from a struggling team trying to find its footing to one of the hottest squads in the league. If they keep playing at this level, they're going to be a serious problem for anyone who faces them. The numbers don't lie. This is a team that's firing on all cylinders right now. By the way, if you guys enjoy these deep dives, I'll be posting every day during the season. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks. Anyways, the Bucks. They have some individual players that have been incredible this season. Of course, it all starts with Giannis. Giannis has been nothing short of incredible this season. Let's start with the basics. He's leading the league in scoring with an eye-popping 32.9 points per game, which is first in the NBA. He's also grabbing 11.9 rebounds per game, ranking 5th and dishing out 6.6 assists, which puts him 16th overall. What makes this even more amazing is his efficiency. Giannis is shooting a ridiculous 60.9% from the field, ranking 6th in the league. These numbers aren't just impressive, they're historic. Last night, Giannis had one of the most memorable performances of his career in a win over Washington. He dropped 42 points on 15 of 24 shooting, pulled down 12 rebounds, and dished out 11 assists. That's a 40-point triple-double. It was the first time any NBA player has achieved that since Luka did it in December last year. But for Giannis, it was his first career 40-point triple-double, and it was a game for the history books. With this performance, Giannis tied Wilt Chamberlain in 30-point triple-doubles, Michael Jordan in 35-point triple-doubles, and Magic Johnson in 40-point triple-doubles. That's legendary company, and it doesn't stop there. Giannis became only the second player in Milwaukee Bucks history to record a 40-point triple-double, joining none other than Kareem. Let that sink in for a moment. Giannis is putting himself in the same breath as some of the greatest players ever. But there's more. Giannis is now part of a rare group of players who have recorded a 40-point triple-double without attempting a single three-pointer. The others? David Robinson, who did it twice, Bernard King, and Magic Johnson. That's elite territory, and it shows just how dominant Giannis is in every aspect of the game. Over his last 9 games, Giannis has been absolutely on fire. He's averaging 35.4 points, 11.2 rebounds, 7.9 assists, and 2 blocks per game. On top of that, he's shooting an incredible 61.2% from the field and has a true shooting percentage of 64.3%. Those numbers are jaw-dropping. Giannis isn't just playing well, he's dominating every single game he steps into. And let's talk about dunks for a second. Last night, Giannis became just the 6th player to record 2,000 career dunks since the NBA started tracking play-by-play data back in 1997. 2,000 dunks. That's pure dominance. It's a testament to how unstoppable he is around the rim. Giannis isn't just getting buckets. He's doing it in the most emphatic and efficient way possible. When you dive into the advanced stats, Giannis' case for MVP becomes even stronger. He's 3rd in player impact estimate, trailing only Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic. This stat measures a player's overall influence on the game, and Giannis is right near the top. He's also 2nd in usage percentage, just behind Doncic. That means the Bucks rely on him more than almost any other team relies on their star player, and he's delivering in a massive way. This MVP race is shaping up to be one of the tightest we've seen in years. Jokic is having another incredible season, but Giannis is right there with them, and arguably ahead. What sets Giannis apart is his ability to dominate on both ends of the floor. Offensively, he's a force of nature, and defensively, he's anchoring the Bucks with his versatility and rim protection. That kind of two-way impact is what makes him such a unique and valuable player. If Giannis were to win a 3rd MVP this season, it would cement his place among the all-time greats. Only a select few players in NBA history have won 3 or more MVP awards. Kareem leads the way with 6, followed by Michael Jordan and Bill Russell with 5 each. LeBron James and Wilt Chamberlain have 4, while Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and Moses Malone each have 3. Joining that group would be a monumental achievement and would solidify Giannis as one of the best to ever play the game. What's been so exciting to watch this season is Giannis' evolution as a player. He's always been known for his scoring and rebounding, but his playmaking has reached a new level. Those 6.6 assists per game aren't just a number. They represent a shift in how Giannis is impacting the game. He's reading defenses better, making smarter decisions, and setting up his teammates for easy buckets. His ability to dominate in so many different ways makes him a nightmare for opposing teams. Giannis' consistency this season has been nothing short of remarkable. Night after night, he's delivering incredible performances and leading the Bucks to success. He's not just putting up big numbers, he's doing it efficiently and effectively. His presence on the court changes everything. Defenses collapse when he drives. Teammates get open looks, and the Bucks' entire system thrives. That's the mark of a true superstar. And let's not overlook how Giannis dominates without relying heavily on the three-point shot. In an era where most stars are launching from deep, Giannis is doing it his way. He's attacking the rim relentlessly, using his size, strength, and skill to overpower defenders. It's old-school dominance with a modern twist, and it's working brilliantly. What makes Giannis' case for MVP even more compelling is how much he means to the Bucks. Everything they do revolves around him, and he's risen to the challenge time and time again. Whether it's scoring in the clutch, making a key defensive play, or finding an open teammate, Giannis is always at the center of the action. He's not just their best player, he's their heartbeat. Looking at Giannis' season as a whole, it's hard not to be amazed. His ability to impact the game in so many ways is what sets him apart. Whether he's putting up monster numbers, making history, or leading the Bucks to victory, Giannis is showing why he's one of the best players in the world. If he keeps this up, a third MVP is well within reach, and it would be a well-deserved honor for a player who's been nothing short of phenomenal this season. But after him, we also need to look at Lillard, because he's been on fire. Right now, he's averaging 25.9 points per game, ranking 10th in the league, but he's not just scoring, he's doing everything. Lillard is dishing out 7.8 assists per game, good for 8th overall, while pulling in 4.5 rebounds per game. His shooting efficiency has been solid too, with 44.1% from the field. The Milwaukee Bucks are 5-0 when Dame hands out 10 or more assists. That's how impactful he's been. Over his last 5 games, Lillard has been on another level. He's putting up 27.4 points per game on 45% shooting. He's dropping dimes at an elite level, averaging 9.8 assists per game. And when it comes to shooting from deep, he's been lights out, hitting 42% of his three-pointers. At the free throw line, he's automatic. He's hitting a ridiculous 96% of his shots. Add in 1.2 steals per game, and it's clear he's doing it all. Last night, against the Washington Wizards, Lillard had another stellar performance. He finished with 25 points, 5 rebounds, 10 assists, and 3 steals. This was the 4th time in his last 5 games that he recorded at least 20 points and 10 assists. That kind of consistency is just incredible. Lillard is not only leading the offense, but also setting the tone defensively with plays like those 3 steals. What's even more exciting is how Lillard and Giannis are working together. Last night marked the 3rd time that both of them recorded at least 25 points and 10 assists in the same game since becoming teammates. No other duo in NBA history has done that more than twice. And here's the kicker. It was the first time this season that they both reached those totals in the same game. The first 2 times happened last year, meaning they tied an NBA record in their first season as teammates and shattered it less than 20 games into their second. That kind of chemistry between 2 superstars is rare and incredibly fun to watch. Lillard's impact goes beyond this season. He's making his mark on NBA history. Last night, his 4th assist moved him past Nick Van Exel on the league's all-time assists list. Dame now sits at 45th overall with 5,784 assists in his career. Next up on the list are Avery Johnson, who's in 44th with 5,846 assists, and former Bucks legend Sam Cassell, who's in 43rd with 5,939. Lillard's climb up this ladder is a testament to his playmaking brilliance over the years. What's remarkable about Lillard's game is his ability to stay productive and efficient while taking on a massive offensive load. His ability to hit deep threes, create plays for his teammates, and attack the basket makes him one of the most versatile and dangerous guards in the league. When you add his basketball IQ and leadership, it's easy to see why the Bucks have been thriving with him at the helm. This season, Lillard's pairing with Giannis has created one of the most dynamic duos in the NBA. They complement each other perfectly. Lillard's perimeter scoring and playmaking pair seamlessly with Giannis' dominance in the paint. The result? A Bucks offense that's nearly impossible to stop. Teams are forced to pick their poison. Do they focus on Giannis and leave Dame open, or do they try to stop Dame and let Giannis dominate? Either way, it's a nightmare for opposing defenses. And it's not just about their individual numbers, it's about how they're making each other better. Giannis draws so much attention in the paint that it opens up space for Lillard to operate on the perimeter. On the flip side, Lillard's ability to stretch the floor creates more driving lanes for Giannis. That mutual elevation is what makes them so dangerous. Lillard's leadership has been another huge factor this season. He stepped into his role with the Bucks seamlessly, bringing a veteran presence and a winning mindset to the team. His ability to take over games in crunch time has been invaluable. When the game is on the line, there's no one you'd rather have with the ball than Dame. His calmness under pressure and knack for hitting big shots are what make him such a special player. What stands out most about Lillard's season is how consistent he's been. Night after night, he's delivering big-time performances. Whether it's scoring, assisting, rebounding, or defending, Lillard is doing whatever it takes to help his team win. That level of consistency is what separates great players from good ones, and Lillard is firmly in the great category. Lillard's recent stretch of games has been a masterclass in offensive basketball. In those 5 games, he's shown why he's one of the best guards in the league. The combination of scoring, playmaking, and efficiency he's displayed is nothing short of elite. And it's not just about the numbers, it's about how he's impacting the game in so many different ways. The Bucks' success with Lillard running the show isn't a coincidence. His ability to control the tempo, create for others, and score at will has been a game changer for them. It's almost unfair. That duo is rewriting the record books and setting a new standard for what a superstar pairing can achieve. Damian Lillard has always been one of the league's most exciting players, but this season, he's taken his game to another level. Whether it's his scoring, his assists, or his ability to make history alongside Giannis, Lillard has been nothing short of phenomenal. And the best part, it feels like he's just getting started. But after him, we need to look at Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez's season didn't exactly start with a bang. Back in October, his numbers were underwhelming, to say the least. He was putting up just 11.4 points per game, which isn't what you'd expect from someone of his caliber. His shooting was particularly concerning. He hit just 38.5% of his shots from the field, and his three-point shooting was even worse at 29.6%. For a guy known for his ability to stretch the floor as a 7-footer, those numbers were tough to look at. He also averaged 3 fouls per game, which limited his ability to stay on the court and make an impact. With 30 minutes of playing time each night, the opportunities were there, but the production just wasn't matching up. But then November rolled around and things started to change, big time. Lopez turned the corner and his game started to look like what fans in the Bucks organization were hoping for. He bumped his scoring up to 13.1 points per game, which might not seem like a huge leap on paper, but it was the efficiency that stood out. He shot an incredible 51.5% from the field in November. Compare that to October's struggles, and it's like night and day. His three-point shooting also took a huge step forward, climbing to 39.2%. That's the kind of shooting that forces defenses to adjust, and it's a key part of what makes him so valuable to Milwaukee's offense. Lopez also managed to play more minutes in November, averaging nearly 34 minutes per game compared to 30 in October. That extra playing time wasn't just about endurance. It showed he was playing smarter. He reduced his fouls from 3 per game to 2.3, which made a noticeable difference. Fewer fouls meant he could stay on the court longer and contribute more consistently. That's a big deal for a team that relies so heavily on his presence, especially on the defensive end. What's fascinating about Lopez's turnaround is how quickly he seemed to find his rhythm. His slow start might have raised some eyebrows, but it's not uncommon for players to need a few weeks to get into the flow of the season. Once he got comfortable, though, it was clear he was back to being the player the Bucks depend on. And when Lopez is playing well, the Bucks are a completely different team. His ability to stretch the floor with his shooting is a game changer for their offense, whether it's attacking the rim or finding open shooters. Lopez's improvement from three-point range has been one of the biggest factors in his resurgence. In October, when he was hitting less than 30% of his attempts from deep, defenses didn't have to respect him as much. They could sag off him and focus on clogging the paint, making life harder for Giannis and the rest of the team. But in November, Lopez has been lights out, hitting nearly 40% of his threes. That forces defenders to stick to him on the perimeter, which opens up driving lanes and creates better opportunities for everyone else on the floor. When Lopez is a legitimate threat from beyond the arc, the Bucks' offense becomes so much harder to guard. On the defensive side of the ball, Lopez's value can't be overstated. He's one of the best rim protectors in the league, and the Bucks rely on him to anchor their defense. Cutting down on those fouls in November was a huge step because it meant he could stay on the court longer and continue to disrupt opponents. When Lopez is out there, he's not just blocking shots, he's altering them. His presence alone makes opponents think twice about attacking the basket. That kind of impact doesn't always show up in the box score, but it's a huge part of why the Bucks are so tough to score against when he's playing at a high level. And it's not just about the big plays with Lopez, it's about the little things he does that help his team win. He's a veteran who understands the game on a deep level, whether it's setting a perfectly timed screen to free up a shooter, boxing out for a crucial rebound, or making an extra pass to keep the offense flowing. Lopez does the dirty work that doesn't always get the spotlight. Those are the plays that make a difference in tight games, and Lopez has a knack for being in the right place at the right time. Lopez's resurgence couldn't come at a better time for the Bucks. With Giannis and Damian Lillard leading the charge, they've got star power covered. But Lopez is the glue that holds everything together. His ability to stretch the floor, protect the rim, and bring veteran leadership to the table is invaluable. And now that he's found his groove after that rough start, he's proving once again just how important he is to Milwaukee's success. The Bucks system is designed to maximize the strengths of their players, and Lopez is a perfect fit for what they're trying to do. His versatility as a big man who can shoot, defend, and make smart decisions is rare, in today's NBA. When he's playing at this level, he elevates everyone around him. Giannis gets more room to dominate in the paint. Lillard has another reliable option to kick the ball out to when defenses collapse on. Even the role players benefit from the attention Lopez commands on the perimeter and in the post. Milwaukee's championship aspirations hinge on their ability to perform as a cohesive unit, and Lopez's role in that can't be overstated. He's the kind of player who makes everyone else's job easier. His improved shooting in November has been a game changer for their spacing, and his defensive presence remains a cornerstone of their identity. If Lopez can maintain this level of play, the Bucks are going to be a serious problem for the rest of the league. And another player that has came alive for the Bucks, AJ Green. AJ Green has been a revelation for the Milwaukee Bucks this season, but not in the way you might initially think. Everyone knows about his elite shooting ability. His smooth jumper and knack for spacing the floor have made him one of the league's most reliable threats from deep. But what's really standing out is something you wouldn't expect: his screen setting. At 6'4" and 200 pounds, Green isn't exactly built like a traditional bruising screen setter. Still, his technique, timing, and understanding of Milwaukee's offensive system have turned him into an unlikely secret weapon. Green has mastered the art of inverted screens, a role you usually see from bigger players setting up guards. But Green flips the dynamic, using his defender, usually a smaller, quicker player, to free Giannis for drives to the basket. These inverted screens are game changers. They allow Giannis to get a full head of steam toward the rim, often forcing defenses to collapse and leaving shooters wide open on the perimeter. It's subtle, but it's one of those details that makes Milwaukee's offense so difficult to guard. Green has essentially taken over the role Pat played in years past, but with an extra layer of threat because of Green's incredible shooting. His ghost screens are another huge part of his impact. By faking a screen and then slipping to the perimeter, Green creates all kinds of problems for defenders. His lightning quick release means you can't leave him open, but committing to him gives Giannis an open lane to the basket. It's a pick your poison scenario that Milwaukee has exploited again and again. These plays force defenders to make split-second decisions, and more often than not, they make the wrong one. The numbers back this up. For the month of November, Green was tied with Andre Jackson Jr. among Bucks guards for total screen assists, trailing only Milwaukee's big men like Brook Lopez, Giannis, and Bobby Portis. That's an impressive stat for a guard, especially one who's known primarily for his shooting. These screen assists are translating directly into points for Giannis, who averages 1.14 points per possession when acting as the pick-and-roll ball handler, an extremely efficient number. Green's contributions aren't limited to just Giannis, though. He's been just as impactful alongside Damian Lillard. When Lillard is on the floor without Green, the Bucks have a net rating of -9.1. But when Green joins him, that swings to a net rating of +13.2. That's a massive shift, showing just how important Green's presence is in creating spacing and opportunities for Milwaukee's star. His ability to complement both Giannis and Lillard adds a layer of unpredictability to the Bucks' offense, keeping defenses guessing on nearly every possession. Another thing Green does exceptionally well is off-ball movement. Even when he's not directly involved in a scoring play, his constant motion and intelligent positioning make life easier for his teammates. Defenders can't afford to leave him for even a second, which pulls them out of position and opens up driving lanes for Giannis and Lillard. It's the kind of intangible contribution that doesn't always show up in the box score, but makes a huge difference over the course of a game. Giannis, in particular, has benefited from having Green on the floor. The two have developed a strong on-court chemistry, with Green screens and spacing creating countless high-efficiency opportunities for the two-time MVP. Giannis looks noticeably more comfortable in lineups with Green, and that's no coincidence. By forcing defenses to account for him as a shooter, Green amplifies the effectiveness of his screens and gives Giannis more room to operate. It's a symbiotic relationship that's paying huge dividends for Milwaukee. The Bucks system has always been designed to maximize Giannis' unique talents, and Green's role fits perfectly within that framework. By embracing the gritty, unglamorous work of setting screens and making smart off-ball movements, Green has elevated himself from being just a shooter to a multi-dimensional player. His willingness to take on these responsibilities shows a level of maturity and basketball IQ that's rare for an undrafted player. Green's impact is even more impressive when you consider how new he is to this level of responsibility. He's not just holding his own, he's thriving in a role that requires precision and an advanced understanding of the game. It's a testament to his work ethic and adaptability, as well as the trust that head coach Doc Rivers has placed in him. Green has earned his minutes in Milwaukee's rotation, and he's making the most of them. One of the most fascinating aspects of Green's screen setting is how it forces opponents into uncomfortable situations. His reputation as a knockdown shooter means defenders can't cheat off him, even for a moment. That gravity makes his screen so much more effective, as defenders have to stay glued to him, rather than helping on Giannis or Lillard. It's a domino effect that creates chaos for opposing defenses, giving Milwaukee an edge in key moments. The Bucks have always been a team that values role players who can contribute in multiple ways, and Green is the perfect example of that philosophy. His ability to stretch the floor is obviously a huge asset, but it's the little things, like his screen setting and off-ball movement, that make him such a valuable piece of the puzzle. These are the kinds of contributions that championship teams need, and Green is delivering them night in and night out. As Milwaukee continues to refine its system with Giannis and Lillard leading the way, it's clear that Green's role will only become more important. His unique skill set and willingness to embrace the dirty work make him an irreplaceable part of the Bucks' success. Whether it's freeing up Giannis for a thunderous dunk or creating space for Lillard to knock down a clutch three, Green is quietly making life easier for Milwaukee's stars. And that's a big deal. And the crazy part is, this is all without Middleton. Chris Middleton's impact on the Milwaukee Bucks can't be overstated. Even as they navigate the season without him, it's clear his absence is temporary, and when he's back, they'll be even better. Middleton's been dealing with recovery from dual off-season ankle surgeries, and though he's been cleared for over a month, he's wisely holding off until he's fully ready. This patience shows how much he values being at his best for the long haul. Let's not forget just how good Middleton is when healthy. From 2017 to 2022, he was a reliable scoring machine, averaging nearly 20 points per game on strong shooting splits, 46% from the field, 38% from deep, and nearly 89% from the free throw line. He didn't just score though, he also added almost 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and over a steal per game, making him one of the league's most versatile two-way players. He earned 3 All-Star nods during that span for a reason, but the last 2 seasons have been a struggle for him. He's missed an average of 38 games each year, and his numbers have dipped to around 15 points per game. Even with those challenges, his shooting remains solid, and his playmaking continues to shine. Those numbers might not scream All-Star, but they're still far better than what most teams get from their forwards. His current stand-in, Taurean Prince, has done an admirable job. Prince is averaging close to 9 points on hyper-efficient shooting, including an incredible 53% from beyond the arc. While Prince has been effective, he doesn't bring Middleton's ability to create his own shot or take over games in crunch time. That's something the Bucks have missed in tight matchups this season. The Bucks have had a rocky start to the season, beginning 2-8 before Doc Rivers made some big changes. Rivers shifted Gary Trent Jr. to the bench, giving Andre Jackson Jr. the starting shooting guard spot alongside Damian Lillard. Since then, they've clawed their way back to 10-9, sitting as the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference. Even without Middleton, they're just 3.5 games behind the 3rd seed Orlando Magic. That's impressive, considering the adjustments they've made and the injuries they've dealt with. The chemistry between Lillard and Giannis is starting to click, and once Middleton returns, their offense will have another layer of depth and versatility. Middleton's return will also take some of the pressure off Damian Lillard and Giannis. Lillard has been tasked with heavy scoring and playmaking duties, while Giannis has carried the load on both ends of the floor. Adding Middleton scoring and facilitating will balance things out and make the Bucks even more dangerous in the East. The Bucks know what they have in Middleton, a proven all-star who thrives in big moments. Once he's back, his ability to stretch the floor, create his own shot, and defend multiple positions will elevate Milwaukee's already impressive roster. They've been solid without him, but with him healthy, they'll be a serious force to reckon with. Overall, though, after a rough start to the season, the Bucks are finally hitting their stride. They've turned things around and are looking like a real threat in the East. Giannis is playing at an MVP level again. He's dominating on both ends of the floor, putting up big numbers night after night. You can see it in his explosiveness, his defense, and his ability to carry the team when needed. He's fully locked in, and the Bucks are benefiting from it big time. But it's not just Giannis carrying the load. Damian Lillard has been on fire. He's hitting clutch shots, scoring with ease, and showing why he's one of the best in the league. His ability to space the floor and create offense is exactly what the Bucks needed. And it's been exciting to watch him gel with Giannis. Together, they form an incredible duo that's tough for anyone to stop. And for Lopez, he's back to playing like the Brook Lopez of old. His defense has been solid, and his three-point shooting is back to being a weapon. Lopez's presence in the paint and his ability to stretch the floor is helping the Bucks create a well-rounded offense. He's been a key piece in their recent success. And like I mentioned before, Chris Middleton isn't even fully healthy yet. Imagine how much better they'll be when he's back at his best. Middleton's scoring, playmaking, and defense will only add to what they already have. Once he's fully recovered from his off-season surgeries, this team will be even more dangerous. They've made it through a tough start, but now they're hitting their stride and looking like the team everyone expected them to be. With Giannis playing at an MVP level, Lillard on fire, Lopez back in form, and Middleton waiting in the wings, the Bucks are positioned to make some serious noise in the East. This team is finally clicking, and it's going to be fun to see how far they can go this season. If you guys enjoyed this, I'll be posting every day during this season. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching.